on one gospel message.
Why did Christ emphasize the difference between serving God and mammon? We'll be back in a moment with the answer.
Grandpa, is this you?
Ah, it's me, all right.
Were you scared?
You bet.
I get scared at school a lot. What do you do when you get scared, Grandpa?
There are times in life when our own efforts and strength aren't enough, when we need something more to rely on for support and encouragement. Many people have found the faith and courage they need in the promises of the Bible to help them through life's difficult times.
Now, I think it's time you learned how to fly this.
Oh, cool!
The Worldwide Church of God believes peace of mind begins with a personal relationship with God and Jesus Christ. If you would like more information about the church or the congregation nearest you, write to the Worldwide Church of God, Department T, Pasadena, California, 91123.
Terrific. That was a great flight.
Jesus said we cannot serve both God and mammon. Mammon is an Aramaic word for money or wealth. But Christ's audience understood mammon to mean anything physical that we might put our trust in. The message is that real security and fulfillment come only through a proper relationship with God.
How much entertainment do you consume each week? Do you find the majority of your leisure time is spent staring at a TV or movie screen? If so, you're not alone. But have you ever considered how entertainment affects you and your family? Film critic Michael Medved has written a book entitled Hollywood versus America, The War on Traditional Values. In this, the third and final part of our interview, reporter Gene Hogberg talks with Michael Medved about the powerful influence of the media.
Hollywood versus America. How do you define Hollywood? It's more than just the movies.
Oh, of course it is. Hollywood is now an all-pervasive force involved with every aspect of popular culture. What's fascinating is that they're the same few conglomerates. Some of them, by the way, Japanese-owned, one of them formerly Italian-owned, one of them Australian-owned, not all American-owned by any means, but all centered here in Southern California. And these conglomerates control popular music, they control television programming, they control a good deal of journalism and the print media, and they control movies.
Has Hollywood been fair in its treatment of religion in recent years?
I think that if there's one aspect where you can clearly see that Hollywood doesn't reflect American reality, it's in the portrayal of religious believers. The fact is that every weekend in American life, 5 times as many people go to church or synagogue as go to the movies. I mean, according to the Gallup poll, Newsweek, CNN, everybody who's measured this, 40 to 45% of all Americans go to church or synagogue every week. You never see that in motion pictures or TV. And when you do, when you see someone who has a religious commitment, the chances are you'll be depicted as a crook or a crazy, or very often a combination of both.
The public seems to still want to see religious themes treated respectfully, with dignity in the films. They still like to see the many, many times that the Ten Commandments comes out on television, usually every year, Ben-Hur, so forth. These are still enormously popular films. I think that says something, too, doesn't it?
It very much does. This is a very religious country. I mean, you read all the polls, and again, all you have to do is read the box office returns. Every time they make a movie about some kind of crooked clergyman, whether it's Leap of Faith, or The Pope Must Die, or Pass the Animo, or Salvation, or Agnes of God, or you name it, they always lose money. But when they make a movie that's even sort of vaguely affectionate toward organized religion, like Sister Act, well, it ends up being a blockbuster hit.
Well, if they don't make money on some of the films, then why produce them in the first place?
I think it's very important that people understand that money is one of the motivations in Hollywood, but it is by no means the only motivation, or even the most powerful. The most powerful motivation for people doing movies and television is to win the respect of their peers. And you can take anyone in the movie business, and they will gladly make some box office flop if it's going to get nominated for Critics' Awards, if it's going to make them look like an artist. All these guys today don't want to be written off as businessmen or entrepreneurs or just entertainers. They want to be seen as serious, cutting-edge artists. And the way that you get that kind of respect in Hollywood today is by sort of posing as a rebel, doing work that's shocking, that's cutting-edge, that's dark. That's why, by the way, they throw in all this language in movies. There's no commercial reason. I mean, do you think, Gene, that there's anyone out there who is saying, hey, I want more F words in my movies? You know, anybody who comes out of a theater or a drive-in saying that, no, I feel disappointed because the characters didn't curse enough. I mean, there's no commercial demand for it, and yet they throw it in, even in so-called family movies, because of this need to pose as daring, rebellious artists.
In light of all that we've discussed, would you be in favor of reinstituting some form of censorship? Is that the answer?
I don't think it is. I don't think we should be over in those territories at all. What you need to do is take a look at these corporations, their shareholders, their boards of directors, and demand that they show some corporate responsibility. The government isn't the most effective means of regulating almost anything, but certainly not something as delicate as the tone of the popular culture. But it seems to me that the key thing now is that at a time when we're asking American corporations to be more responsible when it comes to their pollution of our air and our water, it's entirely appropriate to demand that these gigantic entertainment conglomerates show a more responsible attitude toward their pollution of the cultural atmosphere that we all breathe.
It's time once again for our viewer mailbox. We look forward to answering your questions about the Bible and the Christian way of life.